soon as he does, I'll get him split screened in. I think it will be. There's a lot of famous people in here. There's Analog Mike from Analog Man Pedals. He makes all the pedals that I like. He makes the pedals I like. Let's see here. There's people that are not Matthew Ryan requesting. Let's see here. Who's requesting? Nah. No, not them. But we're going to be doing this thing where we sit around and we're talking about songwriting and the things we do. Here we go. Let's see. Here he is. Not a good look. You see all that? See those requests that weren't you?
No, man.
You didn't see those? No. There's a lot of requests. People trying to crash the old soiree.
Well, you're a handsome fella.
Look at you, though. You are dialed in, brother. You got a coffee. You got Big Jimbo, the guitar right there.
Yep.
And look at this look of you. You look wonderful.
I went with a casual ponytail. What do you think?
You look great. Did you get a haircut?
Well, yeah, I did.
For the show.
My lady friend did it in the kitchen on Easter.
I love this.
Yeah, we were reenacting that verse in Hallelujah.
I love that. Yes, biblical.
Yeah.
A biblical proportion. This is wonderful stuff. How are you today?
I'm good, man. I've been excited about this all day. It's been like the longest Wednesday ever.
I know, right? That's why they call it Hump Day. Gotta get to our show. That's the whole reason. This is going to be great, I think. Are you excited about playing?
A little nervous, honestly.
Me too. Every time.
Yeah. I think that's a good thing.
I think it shows we care.
That's right. That's exactly right.
I think I'm trying out these headphones now. I got these Bluetooth headphones. So I'm going to see how this works. I think it sounds better.
Okay.
I don't hear any feedback, so it should be okay.
Yeah, no, it sounds good.
Well, I think let's get into this then. So you were along for this ride with me on the last, not the record that I just finished, the one before that. You were very in tune with this writing. We were calling each other. I was calling you quite often.
Yeah.
And I was having a real tough time with this one. It was
with this one or the pre. It seems like you have a rough time with all of them.
I think I did.
It's because you take the peak.
I get the shovel out and I end up hitting myself in the face for a few months before anything comes out. You're right. I might have trouble with all of them.
Well, I
care.
I think the last time we talked about it, you have a thing you do with every record, and I have a thing I do with every record.
What's your thing?
Mine is every record's the last record. Like I'm absolutely certain that I'm done and I'm gonna clean out my locker.
I feel that.
Yours is a very deep fear that you're never gonna write songs as beautiful as you've already written.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think these are both common fears. It's almost like we're human beings, part of a greater thing.
It's true, man. It's true. It is a very human thing. If you don't love something, there's no threat in losing it.
True. Look at that.
Yeah,
that's deep, man. I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna go. That's the end. This is great. That's what you just said is deeper than any song I've got. So I'm gonna end the show now. Thanks very much.
Yeah, here we go.
Well, I'll tell you. So inside the struggle, I find they say write what you know. I usually don't agree with that. I say write what you kind of imagined better than what you know.
Yeah.
So what I did was I figured, well, I got my wife from England. Let me write about that. Let me write about this scenario of I think what you just said, that loving and then fearing of losing thing, that ever-present thing.
Yeah, man. And Stacy is wonderful. Like, I
think so.
She is the kind that would inspire a song or a few hundred.
Maybe there's a few now. So
It's
What's
good.
that?
There's a few now, so it's good. At the same time, I will say my songs seem to collide a little bit with ideas where there's 50,000 things in one. And what I did was on this one, I thought about, I was reading a detective novel of Sherlock Holmes, believe it or not, and I said, you know what, I have to hire. What about if they weren't looking for the hounds of hell? Instead, they were just looking for love. What would happen? And so I said, I have to put this other thing. These comments are killing me. They're saying that your microphone is scratching. I'm like, well, I'm not a professional. I'm not at the Ellen show here. This is
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
so let's try this out. And so this song is called Watson.
I love
Here we go. Thank you. All right, we're going to try it on the piano.
Do it.
I went walking, leave my head of the buzzing. I went stumbling past your car. All the bad blood down in my bones came rushing, singing, who's gonna love you? She's gone. Took such a heavy lot just to find you in the first place. All that rain remaining fall. If you're thinking you might want to stay with me, I don't want to go on my own. Don't I worry when I get old, I'll be lonesome, chasing all the umbrellas in London. Every footstep an angel station, even the scent of your perfume again. Watching detective chase the one that got away. Who'd be the heart she'd hold on after mine? That is if I'm standing there. Took such a heavy lot just to find you in the first place. Do what you love, I once heard you say. If you're thinking you might want to stay with me, I don't want to go on my own. Go to worry when I get old, I'll be lonesome, chasing all the umbrellas in London. Every footstep an angel station, even the scent of a perfume again. Watching detectives chase the one that got away. I remember how we danced through the towns on the Thames. But one little night I felt like I could be made new again. And you stayed here with me while I lost nearly everything. What do you really love? I heard you say. But if you're thinking you might want to stay with me, I don't want to go on my own. Go to worry when I get old, I'll be lonesome, chasing all the umbrellas in London. Every footstep an angel station, leaving the scent of a perfume again. Watching detective chase the one that got away. I don't don't wanna go on my own. Hang on, Watson. Hang on, Watson. I don't wanna go on my own. There we go.
That's a beauty, man.
Thank you.
That's a beauty.
Thank you. How'd that sound? Okay? Sound all right?
You know, we're traveling through space and time right here. So like,
Yeah.
let's just understand that it sounds amazing. You're in Jersey, I'm in Tennessee, and this thing's hitting probably I don't know, Jupiter.
Yeah, it could be. Bouncing off the satellite.
Yeah, man, it's
I
amazing.
like this.
Yeah, it sounded beautiful, man.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so you have a process that's much different than my process. How? What are you gonna play first? First, let me tell you.
Well, I was gonna, just because I'm sentimental, and you've been such a good friend, and no, you've been such a generous friend, man. I've said this 100 times to you and to anybody that will listen that you helped to restore my faith in what music is intended to be.
Thank you.
You know,
I do. I know. We've talked about this. I know what you mean.
It's for real. And so I know it's a little cheesy, but I was going to play "I Can't Steal You" because it was the first time we played together, and I was like, I want that guy to play on my records.
Beautiful song. Beautiful song. I love this.
Should I just play and we'll talk more?
Yeah. Whatever you want to do. We'll do this, and then I can ask you questions. We can even take some if you want.
All right, here we go. Hold yourself, I'm done. My arms are tied. Saw you walking backwards towards the fight. I'm in love with the red sky. I'm in love with the tragedy. We betray what we can't deny, 'cause she believes she needs me. Caught a flash of absolute perfection. Shattered light fell dark in all directions. Traffic floats like a ballet, far below in the distance. And just as sad as the words we'd say, they'll all be gone in an instant. It's just so easy. It's hard. It's just so easy. And it's hard. So pull me closer, 'cause I can feel you'll have to trust me, 'cause I can steal you. I can. I can. I can. Ashtrays light like hearts for you to burn in. smoke curls from your mouth before you turn in. Our love is a black gun. I feel the loss in the mundane. In the hours, the minutes run. They're just so subtle while they have the way. It's just so easy. This heart. It's just so easy. It's hard. So pull me closer. 'Cause I can feel you. You'll have to trust me. 'Cause I can't steal you. I can't. I can't. Woo!
Dude, sounds amazing. This is the mark of the I think the greatest of the great songs is when you can play it by yourself. And I've been familiar with that song probably since it came out, because I was a fan a long time before we met. But that song sounds just as impactful to me, 20 years later, and not 20 years, but 15 years later, and like, even just you sitting in your living room playing it, like, I still feel that's a heavy duty song. Heavy duty.
Thank you, Brian.
Now, let me ask you this. So I won't ask you to reveal anything, but I would say, like, in your process, now, when you have lines like this, even just like saying something so bold as like, "Hold yourself, I'm done. My arms are tired." Like, the all these images, ashtrays, lilac hearts. Like, now, what's your inspiration for getting things like that?
Man, we've talked about this, and so, but I'm going to say some of, like, I think what we both have kind of concluded. Like, I don't think I was ever. I don't. Speaking for myself, I wasn't a particularly bright kid, but I was lucky that my folks were playing amazing music around the house. Like, it was like literally growing up with Leonard Cohen, Bob Dylan, Springsteen, Fleetwood Mac. And I think that, like, that stuff, through some sort of osmosis, connects all these things in our brains, where basically in a song you're trying to describe weather. Like, and like, when it's done well, it's understood. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel that.
And yeah, and so you kind of, I think, as a lover of music, because that's one of the things I really, on top of the fact, we can break each other's arms patting each other on the back, because you do know how I feel about your work. On top of the fact that I think you're a great songwriter, Brian, one of the things that, like, I heard it the first time before we met, when I heard you guys, you fucking love music.
I do.
Like,
I do.
You love it.
I love it. Every minute of it.
And so it's hard. I saw you and Dave trying to describe this, and you just it's a thing. It's like some people are good at like sundials and shit.
Yeah.
Like, they can get all the way to the target from here without a map.
Yeah.
It's the same way with songwriting. You just kind of relax and you go, okay, that's it. That's what that's. And sometimes you don't even really know what it means.
Yeah.
It is resonating.
Yeah. I think that's like some of the biggest trick is to not. The trick is that there is no trick. It's that you have to allow yourself to be comfortable, and then whatever, because each one of us, they have, whether you're a writer or a painter or whatever, or even if you're just like not artistic but you're something else, there's like a uniqueness and a specialness inside that only you can contribute to the world. And so, like, those ways, but that only happens when you relax and you just allow the natural self to be. You know what I'm saying? Does that sound crazy?
No, it's like falling in love over and over again. The saying, like, you don't find love when you're looking for it. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It finds you, and that's like writing a song. I think is much the same thing, man.
I feel that. Hard to do, though. Hard to do.
Yeah.
You know, I'll tell you one thing that sometimes for me, the trick to doing that, like opening up, is exhaustion with myself, complete and utter exhaustion. And so the next song I'm going to play is one that people asked me to play a lot the last couple episodes, and I didn't get to. So now I got a little brushed up on it. It's a song that it never really got released. This was like on a record store day thing. It's called The Blues Mary. And so the thing with that one is that was the first official like by myself song I ever did, like put under my name. And that one came at the end of a really long tour that was like 9 weeks long or something. And then I came home. I was so sick of hearing amplifiers like at that point. You know, it was like, and I just sat down. I remember sitting on the floor, like, and just it came all out in one shot. And that's, when you're too tired to be, clever about yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing. I wish we could touch into that, whenever we wanted to. And just be like, hey, yeah, guards down. This is the true self coming in hot.
Man, it's we just got to be grateful we get to experience that,
Totally. Yeah.
And I think with kind of gratefulness, it visits more. And I think you found that to be true.
I have. Yeah. The more you're grateful for it, the more you appreciate it. And I feel the more that, like, whatever the thing is, it like, the muse or whatever, the inspiration, a talent or whatever, it rewards you for being grateful.
I think it's, like, I know we've talked a lot about it, like the faith and quantum physics and all that stuff. There's something to it, man.
I agree.
Atoms changing their behavior based on the expectation of the observer.
I feel you, man. Yeah, totally.
It's funny because we've talked so much about this that I think I'm leaving a lot of gaps, and so I hope people that are watching, like I've asked you all the questions that I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
And I don't want to look like I'm just like, yeah, whatever, Brian.
No, not at all. I think we're getting to the meat of some of the stuff. Like, I think we're getting, people are excited. I think they're also like, people are just excited to see people who are excited talk to each other. So that's cool. And
it's the first time I've seen your face moving, like in actual, like, I think the last time we were face to face was in England.
Yeah. Right? Oh my goodness. Yeah, it was a long time. Yeah, it was. We don't FaceTime. We call each other like, do
a lot of heavy breathing.
That's the way to do it. That's the thing. All right. Well, here I'll do this one, and then you get one in the chamber. Stir it around for us.
You got it.
The Blues Mary. Here we go. Oh, and people always ask me all the time, what about the names? The names. You always have the names in the song. The Blues Mary. You know why the name Mary's in a lot of my songs? That's my grandmother's name, and she's since passed on. And my grandmother was my best friend, and she helped my mom raise me when I was very, very young. And so that's why. It just reminds me of her to put it in there, even if it's not about her. So that's the secret.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Here we go. Learned out a hammer in the burning August sun. Learned how to lie and cheat, how to steal, just how to run. Fell asleep most nights, somebody else's blood on my tongue, your tongue. You learn just how to run. It's just the blues, Mary the blues, swirl around my head like your dreams in Dorothy shoes. And somewhere over the rainbow for you. Learned how to cry, those lonesome September nights. I learned to get by with the dogs in the dirt and the charm of the street. I fell asleep most nights. Your picture's right behind my eyes. Your eyes. Killer and the victim arrive right at the same time. It's just the blues, Mary the blues, swirling around my head like your dreams in Dorothy shoes. Somewhere over the rainbow for you. And it's just the blues, Mary the blues, swirling around my head like your dreams in Dorothy shoes. And somewhere over the rainbow for you. Of course, a smile is bright like the ramparts on the 4th of July. My baby swings like a boxer, sends her right hooks on my chin. She cries like a baby, and she wears me just like a ring. She cries like a baby, and she wears me just like a ring. I'd rather go and watch her leave. It's the blues, Mary the blues, swirling around my head like your dreams in Dorothy shoes. Somewhere over the rainbow for you. And it's just the blues, Mary the blues, swirling around my head like your dreams in Dorothy shoes. Somewhere over the rainbow for you. Oh, yeah. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound.
Beautiful, man.
Thanks, man.
It's beautiful,
I
man.
appreciate it. Thank you. I gotta record that one day.
I left my lighter out there for these 2 songs. I should have had the lighter out.
I don't have one anymore.
Yeah, I was going to ask, do you remember what those even are?
No, I had, it's funny, like I had one for heat shrink tubing when I was working on amps, but it like ran out, and then I didn't have a new one, so I was like, well, all right, I guess no more heat shrink.
Dude, I'm so proud of you, man. I don't know how you did it. I don't know how you did it.
It was rough,
I bet.
It was time for me. Like, it's just, everybody's got a time, and then, when it comes up, you just do it, and then that's it.
Yeah.
But like, everybody does the thing, and like, I guess it wasn't like a specific reason. I mean, there was the obvious reasons, but then it was, I don't know. I was just like, I think this is done,
Well, it is kind of a stupid habit.
It's such a drag.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
But, whatever. It's one of the things.
But you know what, man? You made that shit look good.
It's tough. I think that it makes itself look good. It's a tricky thing for me. You had said to me when we were doing, we were working on Hustle Up Starlings. I've said this in interviews now, actually. Matter of fact, people have said to me, like, oh, in like the last, like, especially with the last record that I finished, they were like, it feels like you made like a big shift there. Like, what prompted that? And I said, I was inspired by when you were talking about how Tom Waits just sort of made that one day, just was like, I'm not the drunk guy. I'm gonna bang on these pots and pans, and I'm gonna find myself. And I'm not sure if I don't know what's in there, but I'm gonna go looking. And I think, like, it takes a lot of encouragement. I think having friends, like somebody like you, to be able to bounce, just talk to, openly, is crucial to development. If anybody's out there, doing this, get a friend.
It's like we talked about years ago, like with running backs in football, like competition and it makes both of you better when you're kind of watching each other.
Yeah.
Not competition out of like a dark place, but just out of like you need to get a little lower on that squat.
Yeah. Well, iron sharpens iron. It's like a thing, and you get into these grooves. But I think it's a really interesting thing to be able to open up and feel comfortable. Like I feel almost, you're probably one of the most comfortable people I feel like talking to when I talk about anything.
Well, man, that's you know, you know. Listen, man, I mean, this is where I'm like a, you know how I feel. Like, it's like, I
do.
love, first time I heard you guys, I heard your soul, I was in, and I just cannot wait to see all the places you're headed with it. And, you know, I think that it's just, you got that thing, that hunger, you know?
I do. I'm always trying to like push, and I feel
Yeah.
like, but so are you. Like, I feel like you're always like doing that, and you're always kind of like, you always have a new idea, which that's what, every time I talk to you, you have a new idea of like where your music can go. And I think that that's inspiring to see. How do you keep that up? Like, is that just,
I think it's the same hunger. I just have a different way of, like, your curiosity about like instruments and how they work, and even like the way the chords work and sound, like your pedal videos and stuff.
Mhm.
I think whereas you kind of, your curiosities are more physical that way, and that's not to talk about your songwriting. That's not. These are two separate things.
Yeah.
I don't have that kind of almost workman Amish thing that you have of like, of
real.
want to know how it works, you know?
It's all in the beard.
You know? And I really, really admire it. It has actually inspired me to be a little more curious about those things and not be so accidental as a musician, you know? But you're interesting. I told you this before. It's like you're the way that you write. It's like you make a movie, and then a lot of your songs. And don't take this the wrong way. Do you know? I don't want to grow up by Tom Waits.
Oh, of course, yeah, of course.
I'm absolutely certain that like that was written in a chronology, and then he just cut up the lines and just spread them out, and then sang them.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the words, there's like clearly a very distinct story being told, except that he's not going to tell it to you directly.
Right.
And I see a lot of that in your writing, where it's like it's all in a mood, and there's a thing going on, but there's always like point counterpoint, and it's like there's the chronology seems a little screwed up or something.
Right.
And I mean that I mean that's a compliment.
It is. I take it as one.
Yeah.
The thing with that is like I've always been like, before the last record, before Local Honey, I was scared to write just like, here's the thing and there's no bones about it. But before that, I would always sort of, I think I felt things in like you know how you look through a kaleidoscope? That's how I felt things. Like, and I think sometimes I still do. Like, I feel a lot of different things at once, and I have a lot of thoughts about them. I mean, you've seen the good and the bad of that with me.
Yeah.
Where like I get a little confused, and so I think that it comes out even in the songs, because I felt like, one, it helps me express like this sort of randomness that I feel, but it also allows,
right.
like basically that's like my way to express that I feel random, and here's how it's coming out in fragmented glass.
Well, that's immediately, as I told you, the first record I heard from you was 59 Sound.
Yeah.
And it was hands down my favorite record in years. Having no idea that we had any kind of spiritual connection through any other, you know what I mean? Like, I never make that assumption. So I want to be very clear, like, where I'm coming from. A friend of mine named Wade turned me on to your record, and I just absolutely was like, finally. And what's interesting about like your writing is that when I say that it seems scattered, or it seems kind of unchronological,
yeah,
it works in a very emotional kind of almost like a. It's like it's just the way the poetry should work, is that it doesn't dictate necessarily. It's not trying to tell you how to feel,
right?
But it's giving you opportunities to feel what you're feeling. And it's through that. That's the beautiful thing about music and love and so many things, is that through that kind of generosity, people get to feel themselves. And that's like, it doesn't get any better than that.
Well, that kind of was a big part of that. Like when I actually realized, like, when in '59 Sound and the records before that, like I nobody knew that anybody was listening. But after that, when I knew people were listening, and I had to sort of like say, is that okay to do that? I said, you know what? This might sound fragmented to some people, like I guess like academically, but I felt really strongly that my job was not to tell you how to feel when you hear the song. I wanted to give you pieces that you could insert your own feelings into, so then the songs could become yours as well as mine.
And listen, man, like that's what I'm trying to say is your process and the way that you express yourself really works. It never came across to me as a device. And when we finally met each other, I knew and understood exactly. Oh, yeah, he's got 9 eyes.
Yeah, and 9 people living in the head. Yeah, it's like I feel like there's a bunch of. I feel like there's like 4 cats, a dog, and a chicken living around here, and they just sort of chase each other, and like
Right.
maybe a few bees.
Man, art's amazing, man. Think about it, man.
Yeah.
Think about, like, not only like what it's done for you in like in like a blue collar way, but what it's done for your sense of connectivity here.
Yeah.
You know, it's really amazing like that, and I don't think you can overvalue art, particularly when it's coming from that place where it's so useful. You know,
I think that it's definitely a communicative tool because I mean you know me in social situations, it's a little hard sometimes, but like almost to a fault. But in the songs, whenever whether I'm hearing music from, like, say you're playing me a song or I'm playing you a song, that's the time where I almost feel like those are the best conversations I have with anybody who's not, like, as close to me as you are. And but that's where there's these interactions that I feel the most sane.
Yeah, man. No,
Crazy.
that's what it's about, man. It's about feeling understood.
Yeah, it's totally about it.
That's what we give each other.
That's it.
I'm talking about all of us.
Yeah.
Feeling understood, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what do you got next?
Well, since we're talking about that, I'm gonna play. This song is off of a record called "Long." So, and it might not be the right place to do a song like this, but I feel compelled because of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people I grew up with in this song, and I sing it all in the first person. I think because I always have, whatever reason, I was drawn to short stories and poetry, and so I always try to tell a chronological story.
Sure.
And I always want to give people a way out, and sometimes it's not obvious. But this song is about a bunch of my friends, although I'm saying it all in the first person, struggling to figure out, like, what they're going to do with their storms, what they're going to do with their lives, what they're going to do with their, all that they are in the places that we try and move from in order to find ourselves. And I just want to clarify, at the end of the song, it's implied that there's a suicide, but that's not what happens.
Okay.
The narrator decides to disappear and go someplace else and become who they intended to be.
I like that.
Because sometimes the place where you are won't let that happen. Because people can be assholes.
Just put that on a shirt.
So I'll play it double speed so it's over in 3 minutes.
No, take your time. Take your time. We're taking the long way around. It's all good. I got the plants next to me. We're good.
Here we go. Where you come from, you learn to disappear, to cover up your fear with punk rock and stones. When you were a kid, you listened to the Clash, you learned to never ask where your daddy was. Once more around the old main track, they never said they thought you were a flag. Some people push till a kid goes oh. Late at night it got dark in your room. Are you loving a car? You promised her everything, not knowing what everything really was. She's the first girl he kissed. She's the first girl you miss. When you're feeling like this, broken in the dark. Her blonde hair was a setting sun. Oh, her mascara was born to run. Oh, he got scared when she started to show. Oh, one more thing you'd have to let go. Could have been worse. Could have been worse. It could have been worse. It could have been worse. It could have been. So you stood on that bridge, overlooking old crappy town. Snow was falling slowly all around. You smoked a quick cigarette, but I'll never believe that you jumped and just ended there. The note you left read, look everywhere. You'll never bury me. A stereo and a pile of cassettes. Oh, that dirty mirror where you used to get dressed. Oh, they stood getting tired with your scars. Oh, some broken chords on a cheap guitar. Could have been worse. Could have been worse. It 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 could have been.
That was great. That's great. But another one good, like the way, one thing I will say is you have incredible pitch too. Like
Really?
you always hit the note right on it, like in that little like shiver spot where it's like it hits right on. I have trouble with that sometimes, but you really hit it. And like that, by the way, that doesn't feel long. That song doesn't feel long.
That was like 14 minutes.
No, it's like there's a murder most foul. That's 22 minutes long. That didn't feel long, so I think you're safe with that one. That's a great song though. Keeps the attention held. I was even watching the comments. People are even going. this, you know what's cool, and you know what I will say to the audience. I think this is awesome that you do. Like I would see somebody be like, "What's this song called? I want to download it," and then somebody else would be like, "It's called this," and then they like say, you know what I mean? Like it could have been worse, and like they're going back and forth, like helping each other out. That's the kind of thing that I appreciate, and it is, you're the coolest people. You're the coolest people.
Hey man, it's beautiful.
It
Hey,
is. It's a good
hey
thing.
Brian, let me ask
Yes.
you something. I've been
Yeah.
wanting to ask you this because I've really been feeling for you because you have this beautiful record, and I know that like nobody makes a pandemic about themselves. So like nobody does that. But like, how are you like how this process of like having this beautiful record come out through this? How are you navigating that? I mean, have you talked about this yet? Like,
Yeah. No. No.
I don't mean to put you on the spot.
No,
Like,
not at all.
I've really been feeling for you, and I almost when we were texting earlier, I almost wanted this, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna Shanghai. I'm gonna get him on the machine.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Well, you know, it's funny because like when I came home, I was like, this is not great. And then I just said, you know, I'm going to make the best of this, and sort of was able to. The second that somebody told me, actually, there's a young guy named Max at my management office, and he said to me, he's like, you know, you could go live on Instagram, right? Because I was like, don't people do shows online? Like, isn't there like a thing? And they were telling me about Stage It. And then they were like, but you got to buy tickets, and I was like, yeah, I don't really feel like doing that. I was like, I just want to play, and I want to talk to people at the same time. So,
Yeah.
you know, I felt like that wasn't going to work. But this, as soon as this stuff came out, it's been a godsend. And all the live streams that I've been able to do
Yeah.
is like, I'll tell you what, it maybe, I don't know. It's a cool thing. I mean, it's a little hard because, you know, now also, you know, but I don't know if everybody else knows. This is the first record where I went on my own. So I'm putting this out. There's no like major label or anything. So it's scary because, you know, I've invested a lot into it.
Yeah.
You know, you invest everything you get into it, and
Yeah.
then, you know, but I think it's, you know, it's going okay. Like so far, like I don't know. I feel like I'm connecting. I don't really think about it, to tell you the truth. I'm going to be
Good.
honest with you. I haven't
Yeah.
thought about it. I've
Yeah.
just been like, I thought about, you know, like I thought about it as far as I told you. I just thought about it, but then that was
Yeah.
it, and I just kind of was like, all right, moving
Yeah.
forward. So I
Good.
guess we'll see. You know,
Good.
this will be a test in about 5 years from now. People will be like, and when they released records during the pandemic, you know, like it's wild times, man. Wild
Well,
times.
you know, it's just I'm just one guy, you know, sitting at a table in Nashville, but
Yeah.
I think the record's going to live quite much longer than the pandemic.
I'm hoping so because
You know,
you know what, I feel precious every time I put out a record, but I will tell you that I do feel more precious about this record than I felt in a very long time.
yeah,
You
good.
know, I just do. So, you know, it's good. You know, you got to do
Yeah,
the thing. So,
that's all.
well, I mean, speaking of all that, I feel like I should give you a little tune from it, but I'm going to give you a reason why. So, you, sir, inspired me. I mean, you inspire me in lots of different ways, but I think one of the things is you're always like, you know, pushing the songs. You're telling me about all these books, all listening to Leonard Cohen and all this stuff together, and we're talking about this stuff. And I said to myself, you know, a lot of these people, they write songs, and I go, I'm pretty sure Leonard Cohen wasn't on the roof looking at Bathsheba. I think that was David, and I don't think Leonard Cohen was there. So, you know, I started to think, well, stories, you know, like what happens if you make up a story, but then obviously yourself is going to get injected in it? I mean, have you done that?
Made up a story?
Like, do you have like made up songs where they're like story songs? I've
Oh
never
yeah,
asked you that. Yeah.
yeah.
I think that's cool. I see, like I don't. The only one I've won, and I never did it before, and I think it took me 40 years to do it. It's weird because you know, when Don Henley was 40, he got the heart of the matter.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know, it's a very big hit. So I'm
Yeah.
curious what he left me of that. So
So is it different singing a song that you've written with? Are you saying that by writing a story song, You don't see yourself in it at all?
No, I do, and that was the strange thing. Is it's the same as if I had lived it.
Right. Right.
And I didn't know that prior to writing it.
Right. Okay.
Now, here to now totally contradict everything that we said prior to this is that I actually wrote this. I probably wrote it out as a short story, about 30, 35 verses, just all different angles. What happens? In what order? And it took some hardcore editing for me to get it down and get it in the right spot. And so it when I finally did it, I felt like it told a story, but no, I didn't give you the bread and I just gave you the bread and the jars of jelly. I didn't put it on for you. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a tricky thing.
That's being a generous human. You know.
Thank you.
What's that thing? You got to teach them how to fish.
Ah. Well, I trust my. When we were kids, came from South Texas, killer party scene. But somehow the morning turned to a meeting. Had a decent boyfriend till he got me. It was so hard, the room used to spin. So say that you love me, or we both end up in hell. I'm not asking for your forgiveness. Couldn't run if I wanted to now. Say that you miss me. Tell me sweet, sweet little lies. Humor me, Vincent. After tonight, I won't be home for a while. And I would fly solo, rodeo dance. I cover my bruises in a Maybelline mask. I'd wait till he passed out, get it most times. And go to meet Vincent and to come back alive. Nobody knew inside I would break. There was always this screaming in between. I just wait. The night, I suppose, and it drove me insane. And I stabbed him once, and then stabbed him again. So say that you love me, or we both end up in hell. I'm not asking for your forgiveness. I couldn't run if I wanted to now. Say that you miss me. Tell me sweet, sweet little lies. Humor me, Vincent. After tonight, I won't be home for a while. And I used to love the smell of the carnival, how the Delta world setting us free. Now I'm sure gonna miss the summer, how the lights used to light up in me. But I better go. Vincent, I love you more, you know. God bless you, old friend. Think that I'll never see you again. My name is Jolene, and I hate that song. baptized in a river when I was young. Thank you. Thank you very much.
That's beauty, man.
Thank you very much. I was proud of that.
Yeah, as you should be.
Thank you.
It's
So
okay.
many-
It's okay to be like, you know what? As long as you don't refer to yourself in the third person, you're doing great.
Yeah, I sometimes I wonder that. Like, are you allowed to be like, I really like that one. I'm glad it's mine and it didn't go to somebody else.
Absolutely, man. Because you maybe had half to do with it. Like, there's some magic there.
Yeah.
So there's like, you got to be grateful. Like, hey, thanks for choosing me.
Yeah.
Be able to offer a song like that.
For sure. I mean, I think
know?
that the only thing you can ever take credit for is the continued pursuit of the thing.
Absolutely.
But you can't, like, the getting it, you can't, because I tell you, like, you sit down at the table and sometimes it's there and sometimes it's not. And I don't know. Now you'll wait for it.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas I'll start chipping away at the ground. I'll just start digging.
That would explain a couple things.
Well, okay, go ahead. Yes.
No. Just like, I mean, your endurance just blows me away. Like I've asked you about it before. Like I don't know if he's a workaholic or he's just got a great work ethic.
I think I should have been a detective because I'm relentless in my pursuit. Of the truth and the thing that I smell something. So
that's beautiful, man.
Thank you.
I like it, man. That's listen, man. Life is about survival. It is not about defeat, man. And it's like you got to persevere in anything that lights you up, and that's all we're talking about. We got different ways of doing it, But I think I am not surprised, but I do wonder sometimes. I can't tell the difference whether you're a workaholic or you just have a great work ethic.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you. I have a stop point. So when I'm working, I'm not the kind of person who'll just push through at 2 a.m. or whatever. I've learned in over the years where I'll say to myself, I'll sit down from 10 to 3, and if nothing comes, if you're not gonna, I'll say to if it's not gonna come, if you're not coming down and you're not gonna meet me, then I'm out of here. And then if it comes on the way to the grocery store, I'll say, you gotta wait. That's my answer back. It's like my little punishment. Punishing the muse. I'll say, hey, hey, listen. So I got a little clock here. So if this goes down, what's going to happen is I'm going to save it, and then I'll go back, and you just click on again, and we'll just pick up from there. So it'll be a two-parter.
Okay.
So it's going to happen. So you know what? Let's do it preemptively. So I'll hit the end button. And then you'll see me come back, and you just come right back on. And all you people follow us. And I'll save it for y'all. All right?